Chai with Manju, with your host, Dr. Manju Shen.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Chai with Manju. Our guest today is a superstar of Carnatic music. Padmabhushan Sudha Raghunathan is a singer, composer who has received numerous accolades for her work. We are so honored and excited that she will be performing at Lernquest Academy of Music in our beautiful city of Boston soon. Let's meet her. So, Sudhaji, welcome to Chai with Manju. It's such an honor to have you with us today.
My pleasure, Manju, really.
Thank you. So, you are one of the most renowned musicians of our times. But I was very intrigued to read that you actually wanted to be a gynecologist, which is very, heartwarming for me as a physician. And then you also considered going in civil service, but destiny and your love of music had a different plan for you because you got a scholarship to study with very renowned ML Vasunta Kumari, or MLV as she called, and the rest is history. So tell me about some of the earlier challenges that you had when you kind of picked what you wanted to do with the rest of your life.
Well, I do have pangs of disappointment that, I was not able to meet up my own dream of becoming a gynecologist because I thought they were little gods, those doctors, somewhere, because I think I saw them when my brother was born after me.
Uh-huh.
So, they seemed like gods to me. And I said, I'm going to be another god. But then, my professors at college said that, if you were to be a doctor, you would have to dedicate a lifetime to it because you wouldn't have time to sing and do other things. So with a voice that you are endowed with, you should try your hand at a different profession where you would have more time for music. So I said, okay, I'll do economics and maybe work for the civil service or for IFS, and took up economics. And still, I think destiny played wrong. It said, no, I have different design for you. So the central government scholarship took me to ML Yama, my guru. And after I met her, I don't think there's any looking back. Because it was a very straightforward journey for me forward. And she made it very interesting with her presence and, of course, with her flawless music and her little, nuggets of philosophical content that she would drop as we moved forward every day.
Yes, you said something very interesting. You said you not only learned music from her, but the life lessons were incredible. And you were like a little blotting paper absorbing it all. So what did you learn from her that has helped you in your journey, even after she's no longer there?
Yeah, she was a very strong woman. And I think I love and respect my guru more so for her skills to handle, life. See, when I say handle life, life has so many challenges that come by, without announcing I'm going to come by. So she would bat it so beautifully, she would just forget about it, get into the concert. Then when she got back after the concert, she would have a solution for that challenge. So what I learned from her, there were a few things, but right now what stands foremost in my memory is the fact that she said, challenges are always going to be there on all sides, domestic side, professional side, the public side, the media side, so don't ever get chickened by it. Think that you're stronger than the challenge, that you're bigger than the challenge, and be sure that you will overcome it. That confidence and tenacity will take you forward. So, of course, I've had challenges and quite a lot because of media expressions and stuff. But I think my family stood by me, and the words of my guru were like a beautiful maxim that came forth in my mind's eye every time a challenge came up.
Right.
That was one thing. The other was, she would always say, your focus in music should never be, should never waver. Whatever you do, whatever else that you do, come back to your core passion, that dedication, that passion, that commitment, the zeal to learn more and more, never be complacent with what you already know. All of that is still very kind of vibrant in my memory.
The world of classical music is actually very demanding because you have to do so many hours of riyaz, then you travel a lot, you perform so much. You have a family as well, you have 2 children, your husband, because your mother, you said, was also a big force in your life. How did you manage to juggle all of it and be so incredibly successful?
You've said it all, Manju. I mean, I don't think I need to even answer that. I mean, being a woman, I think you've been very empathetic to my journey. But to put it in my own words, I think the support from the family made such a vast difference. First of all, we had 2 children. We have 2 children. One is Kaushik and one is Malvika. And the age difference between them is about 6 years. So you can imagine how much of challenge we faced when we had Malvika, because, Kaushik was all the while the apple of the eye, and then he had to stand on the edge and watch over his sister. So we had to please both of them. Both of them wanted our attention, and we had to give it to them somehow. But my career was at that point of time really taking off. Like there were concerts like, if I might go back in my journey, I think about 15 to 18 concerts a month, which was really, really rough, really rough. And half of that would be outstation concerts. So when I came back, I would check with how they are and what they're doing and how they're doing in school, and then have to repack and leave. So that part was very difficult because, my son would draw a long face, but would understand. But my daughter would never. She'd say, if I was leaving today, she'll ask me, will you come back tomorrow morning? So how do you explain to a child of 2 or 1 that, you have the concert tomorrow evening and you have to travel the next day and come back? So I would say, yes, I'm going to come back as soon as possible, and I'm going to buy you a lot of gifts and all that stuff. I mean, that was one way that I could tackle their expectations. Kaushik used to love books. He used to love science, the equipment, the apparatus that you have as toys. And he would love his He-Man and Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe. So he'd bring back his little toys. And Malvika would love Barbie dolls and cooking utensils and, the perfect girl thing. So in a way, I think I sailed with all of that. And of course, I must definitely mention Raghu's contribution in this. He, I think, more than made up for my absence with his love and attention.
Absolutely. Now, you have had so many spectacular concerts across the world. You have also performed at United Nations. Do you have any concerts that have been the most memorable, or something special happened that you will never forget? Do you have anything you want to share with your fans today?
Yeah, but I've said it quite a few times in other interviews. So
you have new fans here.
One was, besides the UN, of course, that was kind of so awe-inspiring. But I could mention Luxembourg here. There was an international festival of Echternach, which happened in Luxembourg. This was in a church. And when we walked into the church that morning with my accompanying artist, I went on the stage and I said, a kind of a wooden platform. And I said, where are the microphones? So the janitor or the audio engineer says, you don't need microphones because the acoustics in the church is so good that you don't need it. But then we insisted because we said the percussion, when it comes strong, then the voice gets drowned. So can you have just one microphone for the voice? So he did provide that very kindly. And then in the evening, we had a very cozy audience of about 300 or 350, mostly Europeans, a few Sri Lankan Tamils and Indians. And then I started the concert, and it was very, very well received and all of that. And we have a portion in the concert which is called the RTP, which is the Ragam, Tanam, and Pallavi. Like, it's like very serious music, and you know, a lot of, you see a lot of colors, a change of ragas in that. So I was into it and at the zenith, you know, and suddenly I could hardly hear myself. When I opened my eyes, I realized that the electricity had failed for some reason. And I didn't know what was going to happen. So because I had to be on the top of my calculation, you know, there's a bit of mathematics that happens at that point, all of that. And so I said, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to close my eyes, just do my job, and I'm sure it will reach the audience. So I closed my eyes, finished all of those complicated patterns. And then when I heard the loud applause, I opened my eyes to see a beautiful sight, almost like heaven on earth. Every single audience had a candle in the palm of their hand. I don't know how they passed the candles, how they lit the candles. Not a little sound heard.
Wow.
And it was such a beautiful sight that I had almost was in tears at that point of time.
Oh my God. It's like almost like a divine experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I like the way they also describe your music, some of the critics, as Sur and Shakti, you know, that it seems the power of your music is so good. So I'm going to ask you something which I love to ask all the musicians that I interview. How do you prepare for a concert? And is there any rituals that you follow before you go on stage? Because I get very interesting answers from that.
Definitely. I talk very less on the day of the concert. I kind of preserve my energies, you know, both the voice and the it's just, I have to admit here that it's just not the voice which works when we sing. It's the entire body. You have to think, so the brain. You have to sing, so it's the voice. You have to sit in a certain position, so it's the flexibility of the entire body. And then, of course, because this classical music, you use the breath so much. So it's the breath coming from the abdomen, which passes through the vocal cords and comes out as nad. So I preserve my energies on the day of the concert. I eat less. I eat very restricted. Like the food that I eat doesn't have any citric, not much chili in it, like normally we would have. Nothing cold. And do a lot of more meditation than on a normal day.
Okay. And any rituals before you just step on the stage? No.
Rituals is that I keep telling myself, I'm just going to go for the best that I know.
Okay. It's interesting. I interviewed a very famous musician, and I'll tell you after the interview. And he said he would just listen to Muhammad Rafi songs before he started performing. He's a classical musician. I remember Ustad Zakir Bhai said that he had his own ritual of ironing his kurta, how he focused, how he did the whole, the entire ritual before he goes on stage. So I find it very interesting. Now, do you always know what you're going to play, or you go with the flow?
Yes, I go with the flow. I have a certain outline, a sketch of what I might be able to present. But then once I go on stage, then I look at the audience, and after the first composition, I would know most likely that I would know that what the audience would expect from me that day.
Okay. I remember Pandit Jasraj says, audience ki nas pakadni padti hai. What they want to hear.
Yeah.
Now, you have received such amazing accolades, including Padmabhushan. Is there any award that is very close to your heart?
All the awards, when we receive them at different stages in life, it's on your musical journey. Each one seems like the best. Now, this is the best. This is the kind of the jewel in the crown, the diamond in the crown. And that's how we think of each award and bow our heads down to each award. But of course, I love the title that I received from organization in Chennai, which is called Krishna Gana Sabha. I got the title Sangeeta Chudamani. And the reason why I love it is because it has my mother's name in it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that I can imagine. That's so sweet. Hmm. Let me ask you, I also read that you want to start one day your Academy of Music. So tell us more about that. Of course, we would love for you to even have a branch in United States, so many students can learn from you.
Yeah. So I have started already. I think it was about maybe about 5 years ago. We started the Sudharnava Academy for Excellence in Music. You can call it just Sudharnava. And if you check on online, you would get across to what it comprises of. So I do have about 30 students now who learn from me online. And during the pandemic, I think teaching was what took much of my time. And I loved sharing my knowledge and my experience with all the young kids because they were an enthusiastic bunch, and they would love to know what happened, how my teacher taught me, and how to proceed with the doubts that I cleared for them in different ragas. And I also, the pandemic helped me realize that, it was important that I shared my, what I knew with the next gen, because it was quite some time since I had tried to evade that with, expressing that I was always traveling. But you have to, at some point of time in one's career, I think, start to give back to the next gen.
Absolutely. And I think what the musicians did for the mind is what we doctors did for the body in COVID times, because the music played such a big role in keeping everybody's sanity intact. So, we really appreciate that. So,
thank you.
What does Sudhaji do for fun? Just pure fun.
I watch movies. I watch web series, and then I just sit and look at nature sometimes. Sometimes I cook, I try new dishes. Then and other times I go out to window shopping and land up shopping finally.
Talking of shopping, I have to tell you, I have watched so many videos of you, and the saris that you wear, my goodness, they are so spectacular. I never see you repeating any sari, and the jewelry is so good. And I've seen most of your interviews. Also, my first thing I check out is the sari that you're wearing. And so, do you have a stylist, or do you pick your own clothes? Because I see in the classical music, you and Kaushiki, you are two of the most best dressed women.
Thank you. No, I choose my own saris. I believe that I cannot entrust that chore into someone's hands. So I do, of course, I do make a fuss getting to the sari that I need to buy, but then it's worth it. It's fun because it's like a child with toys. Which toy is the best? Then I go, and also because I don't know what I have in my wardrobe already, and not repeat the same design or the same.
I saw that.
Of colors.
No, you have such a spectacular collection. Now,
thank you,
of course, we are waiting very eagerly in Boston for you to perform at LearnQuest Academy. There is so much excitement in the air.
Thank you.
Do you have anything in mind what you're going to perform that day, or do you have any words or message for your fans who are going to be watching this interview?
Well, I've been to Boston several times on several occasions to perform, and it's I think a very intense audience in Boston. They know a lot about music, and they know where to applaud, how to reciprocate at the right points, which just is a reflection of the fact that they know the music. So I'm not going to right now be able to tell you what I might perform, because I usually plan a day or two before the concert. The raga also depends on your state of mind and
absolutely.
The condition of the voice and everything. The mood I would say.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to it as well because it's been a while now since I performed. So I'm looking forward to see the audience in Boston.
So, on behalf of all your fans, especially those in Boston who are waiting very eagerly for you, please do sing a few lines of something that is close to your heart or appeals to you today.
More than what I would prioritize as close to my heart or what appeals to me, I would say, there are a few compositions that I sing which touch people very much because they have listened to it so many times on CDs or, love the lyrics or whatever it is. There's a magic in those words. So I'm going to sing one of that. திரையின் பின் நிற்கின்றாய் கண்ணா கண்ணா திரையின் பின் நிற்கின்றாய் கண்ணா கண்ணா திரையில் பின் நிற்கின்றாய் கண்ணா உன்னை மறையோதும் ஞானியர் மட்டுமே காண்பார் திரையில் பின் நிற்கின்றாய் கண்ணா உன்னை மறையோதும் ஞானியர் மட்டுமே காண்பார் என்றாலும் குறையொன்றும் எனக்கில்லை கண்ணா என்றாலும் குறையொன்றும் எனக்கில்லை கண்ணா குன்றின் மேல் கல்லாகி நிற்கின்ற வரதா
Wow. Wow. Pure magic. Pure magic. You made my days. Thank you so much. And now the countdown has started, and we will see you soon in Boston. Thank you so much for giving me some time. Thank you. And thank you for giving us the time. You've been traveling all over and you're so tired, yet you made time for us. So thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.